issue of National Geographic magazine. This issue is about the pandemics quite a lot, but there are also some interesting topics. That's it. About some caves in Slovenia, about dodo bird. Quite interesting. I am not quite a fan of talking about the pandemic quite a lot, but I will go slowly through all the issue with pandemic included. So this is the cover of the magazine. It's issue 208. Yep. So let's see. In the beginning, these are like the main topics about New York, the unusually deserted New York, about Generation C, Generation C, Generation Co-virus, and about the dodo bird. And I particularly love the article about developing film, black and white film. Interesting. Of course, an instructive article about how to wear a mask. I won't be going into that. I loved the introduction article written by a Romanian journalist, Cătălin Gruia. He asks himself quite a rhetorical question: if you'll survive this pandemic, which is very likely, what will you tell to your grandchildren 20, 30 years from now? And he says that the biggest issue, it's the emotion, it's the negative emotion which are flooding your life. And the power that we have is to make the difference between the feeling of control and a flooding of negative emotions. Therefore, we have to embrace this challenge called COVID, and this is the solution to embrace it. Once you embrace and accept what's happening to you, you get rid of the negative emotions. Well, if this ain't New York, look at that, quite deserted, nobody's on the streets. An unusual picture of New York. This is an image made from the helicopter, and this is the Lincoln Tunnel. This is the Lincoln Tunnel. Quite unusual to see such an empty city. Park Avenue from New York is again quite deserted. Nobody. It's empty. I think for a typical New Yorker it's quite unusual to see such an empty city. The Empire State Building. This spring, the Empire State Building has been lit up with red and white lights as a support for the medical crew in this fight with this pandemic. It looks quite nice. Yeah, quite an effort indeed. This is a story by Stephen Wilkes, who is a photographer. He makes TED conferences and he also creates objects of art. He is a New Yorker. So he made a picture of the Bryant Park Look at this. This is empty. An empty park. Nobody is there. Nobody wants to go outside anymore. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. I can imagine the panic that people had. But yeah, that's quite odd to see an empty New York. Now, now we're going to go into the vast coverage of the COVID thing. It's quite odd to transfer all the interactions into the virtual environment. I guess that was the biggest issue of people. This was like, oh, quite interesting, like when you want to touch the person which is on the other side of the screen. That's quite impossible. I think this shows the importance of genuine one-to-one connections. Interesting. So this person talks about Oliver Wang. He talks about his struggles during the pandemic, not being able to talk to family, being always like isolated. If you've been alone during quarantine, yeah, that was hard. Wow. But he says that this generation, who is accustomed with sitting on the phone, sitting in front of the PC, actually they enjoyed they enjoyed these things because this is like the way they see interaction in itself. Quite interesting. He says that the biggest fear, and I can agree with that, the biggest fear that people have is the fear of uncertainty. What's going to happen next? What's my future? What's going to happen with my job? Quite a lot of people, I also encounter quite a lot of people lost their jobs now. That can be quite traumatic. And another scary thought is that people could get accustomed with this like with interacting from far away from a screen. This could become a new norm, and that's quite scary because we need the classical human interaction, a hug, a smile. Yeah, that's quite scary if this is the new normal. Who knows? Interesting. He says that the physical presence of another human being has something that you can't simulate. No screen will manage to replace the feeling of an arm that holds you under your shoulders. That's quite nice. My biggest fear, Oliver says, that some of us will never get out of the quarantine, of the self-imposed quarantine. This uncertainty makes us lose our connection to the world. Yeah, I can understand that. A lot of people are still like, don't touch me, sit at 1 meter away from me, put your mask on. Yeah, quite disturbing. Quite disturbing. The next article is about a very interesting insect. Look at that. They change colors and they look like the piece of what they put themselves on. Quite interesting. So insects, very interesting. Insects can have colors that they can't see. Wow. This is the insect. They are camouflaging, and they can adapt. And this quality of this insect is called dermal photoreception. That's that means seeing with your skin. They have some receptors on their skin, and those receptors pick up their color on what they are sitting, even though the insect can't see. Wow. And a cure for depression. A cure from depression, for anxiety and depression. They received a study group. They received a high dose for at least 1 week of this is hard to pronounce, psilocybin, a compound from mushrooms, from those freaky mushrooms. Yeah, that's quite interesting. So yeah, and a new technology for eco-green friendly building materials. The cement, the concrete, it's generating too much greenhouse effect. Therefore, some scientists from MIT, of course, they made a process through which you can produce cement with electricity. Interesting. So the electricity between the electrodes, it's producing hydrogen and oxygen. Wow. And this is chemistry, pure chemistry. And then in the acid you add calcar, and then it's dissolved, and then you can use that as cement, as concrete. Interesting. That would be, this is like image of the reaction, but that would be interesting. Like, no more pollution, no more greenhouse effect. Okay, I loved how this insect looked. This is a moth, of course, but this is like a male moth, and it's called creatonotus, and this fluffy thing he only displays it during mating season. Supposedly female moths go crazy after that. Whatever. And yeah, and interesting, the more toxic plants the male moth eats, the fluffier this thing gets. Weird. So yeah, something like that. Interesting. What male don't do to attract females. Eating toxic plants. Okay. I love this article. It's about the dodo, the masked dodo bird. They are trying to recreate and see how this bird could have looked like. Quite interesting. Oh. Looks like a bigger chicken to me. So something like that. Yeah, very, very interesting. This is hello. Hello, here we are at the dodo bird. This is an ancient bird, long disappeared. They don't fly. The dodo bird never flied. Quite interesting. It has been in the Mauritius, and the DNA tests show that the dodo bird was a sort of a pigeon. Which was related with another disappeared species, the pigeon of Rodriguez. So the dodo bird, this huge bird, is a relative of the pigeon. So that's quite interesting. The dodo bird, the proportion of their brain show that they aren't. People thought that the dodo bird ain't too smart, but after they compared their brain with the brain of the pigeons, it showed that they were pretty smart and they had a very keen sense of smell. This is like the brain of the dodo bird, And this is like the brain of the pigeon, so Nicobar pigeon, quite interesting. Quite interesting. So these are a lot of disappeared species, I guess, back in the times when the dinosaurs existed. This is the red chicken of Mauritius. Oh, an ancient chicken, look at that. And this is a pigeon of Nicobar, quite colorful. So these are like kind of the relatives of the dodo bird. Wow. This shows the various looks that people attributed to this species throughout history, including this, which was used like in cartoons and in movies. Yeah, interesting. Oh, look at this is like the baby, like the baby from hatching, from going into adulthood. They're quite fluffy. They were quite fluffy. Nice, very very nice. After they hatched, the dodo bird chicks, they grew as adults in only a few months, so their growth was pretty fast. Quite interesting. The nest, even though the dodo bird is a bird, they did their nest on the ground, not in the trees, because dodo birds couldn't fly. Wow, that kind of contradicts the principle: a bird that doesn't fly, that's dodo bird. What did they eat? They ate nuts, fruits, and seeds from the nearby forests. Wow, quite interesting. I like that. This is a guy, Oscar Nilsson. He reconstructs faces after skeletons. Ooh, pretty creepy. But this is the kind of person that after finding skeletons, he is able to recreate the face with bone structure, with skin, with everything. It actually quite requires a lot of creativity and imagination. Wow. But he says that he has 20 years of experience in doing that, and 20 years ago you had to guess the color of the eyes, the color of the skin, but now he uses a software which can predict, after analyzing the parts from the bones, exactly. Wow, quite interesting. A short article about the porcupine. Oh, look at that, he's so cute. And how do porcupine make babies? Well, let's find out. It's actually quite odd and weird. So they actually can sit in the trees, and so this is so weird. Their mating season starts in autumn, in early autumn, and the female goes to a specific tree. She picks the tree and she launches like a signal through a smell, a very pungent, very nasty smelling stuff, but for males it's like, wow, super nice. And yeah, the male splashes her with a lot of liquids, and the liquids go on the tree, and yeah, quite odd. So yeah, it's quite painful because they have these needles, so it's not, so they are just splashing liquids on each other. This is how it happens. No wonder, because they have this spine, so no wonder, like, yeah. Oh, I love this thing. It's about developing film. black and white film, the process, everything. What do you need to develop film? Oh, quite nice. So I'm gonna tell you shortly. I loved this. I love this. This is like a photographer, Brian Young. He started in the 80s to work with film. It can last almost 2 hours. 2 hours for a negative to be on paper. Wow, that's quite a lot of time. You need 3 trays. You need the revelator, stop bath, fixator substance. You need a thermometer, the temperature of the water and of the solutions. It's very important when you are developing film. I didn't know that. Yeah, you need a timer. You need a brush, an anti-static brush. You need to clean the negative with the brush. This is like the brush. You need the brush. You need like a magnifying glass. You need a frame for the negatives. Oh, that's quite interesting. Very nice. This is like the frame. You put the negative here and it holds it. Oh, nice. And you need how do you call that, like a Berzelius kind of a glass from chemistry, which has like little, like you can tell when you put 10 milliliters, 20 milliliters. You need that in order to measure the dilution of the substances you want to use. Developing a black and white film is not easy, therefore you really have to take your time. It's a lost art, but nice. I love this art. This was my favorite article from this issue. It's about a cave. It's about a cave. That's such a nice cave. Look at that. Oh, it looks so green. But this is a cave which filled with water. This, from a mission of exploring, this transformed into a survival mission. Like, imagine you go to explore a cave and suddenly the cave fills up with water. Therefore, these people were kind of trapped in this cave in 2018. This is the deepest cave in the world. The system Veriovkina from Abkhazia, from Georgia. Wow, that's quite interesting. This is a picture made 2 days prior, before the cave flooded with water. So if the cave is flooding with water, you have to run. Quite scary. Quite scary. They lost the camera. They only took the card from the camera, and they left all of their equipment there because it was way too dangerous to lose time by grabbing the equipment. Oh, that's quite a loss of money, but life is quite important. Wow, this is how it looks like inside of the cave. This is them. So this whole place can be filled up with water. So the water goes up. That's quite dangerous. Wow. So they say that when water flooded, the water came up until here. So imagine, like, that's just unbelievable. Wow. They are describing their stress, their adrenaline, Quite interesting. Wow. Wow. They say that they came back after the flooding, and they found the camera and the tripod, but one of the luggages of the photographer were up into the ceiling. uh, it was like stuck in the ceiling. Can you imagine the power of the water? It took um, a luggage, it took it and put it in the ceiling of the cave. That's incredible. They would have died for sure if they would have stayed there. Wow, wow. But a year later, another member of the crew and some friends of this guy came to visit him in Austria, in Innsbruck, and they managed to get his cameras because they managed to find his lost equipment in all sorts of the corners of the cave. Wow. Yeah, it's good to get your camera back after 1 year, that's for sure. Wow. So they had to wait, when they had to escape, they had to wait almost 16 hours. um wow. Wow, that's so like, wow. Nice story. Okay, this is going to be unpleasant. This is, I don't know why, but National Geographic magazine decided they want to do a vast coverage of COVID and diseases and pandemics. And yeah, I'm not going to talk about it so much, but they are tracking all sorts of diseases from the beginning of human times up until now. Right. Yeah. Of course, this is the body of a supposed victim of COVID in an Indonesian hospital. I'm gonna show it, but it's not very like, yeah, let's skip over this. Yeah, this is like, these are bones from victims of from 30,000 victims of the plague. This is from Sedlec, the Czech Republic. This happened, of course. I don't want to minimize it. I don't want to say it's not important or stuff like that, but I feel that it's so saturated with, like, I'm like almost tired to talk about it. This is an image of some workers in a Wuhan factory. This is how they take lunch. This is pretty sad. Social distancing. Yeah, I don't want you to sneeze into my pasta. Oh, that's so sad. Like people used to take lunch and talk, and now no. Odd, quite odd, quite sad. Right, so it talks about the Grand Princess ship from Oakland, California. They had to sit on the sea for days until a lot of passengers were confirmed with COVID. Okay, here we go. Smallpox. This is like a smallpox survivor. As you can see, it has a lot, like he has a lot of scars and right. All sorts of details about the smallpox, about the symptoms. Yeah, if you're really into that, into diseases, into getting to know stuff, quite interesting. they explain how they discovered the vaccine, how they cured it, but how a lot of people suffered until then. Hello Nathan. Oh, I'm happy to hear that. I'm talking about, actually I'm not going to talk about a lot of diseases and pandemics and everything. It has a lot of coverage of all sorts of diseases. It started with smallpox, now covers like the plague. Yeah, no, I feel like too much talk about diseases, and I'm not quite a fan. I'm just going to cross over. These are like some statistics about how many people died of all sorts of plagues throughout humanity. Yeah, if you're really into diseases, if you really like to study the pandemics, the diseases, yeah, not nice. About the typhoid, yeah, about polio, nah, I don't think you're gonna die. I think we're all going to be fine. About studies made about all sorts of germs. Again, I'm not going to go into details. You really have to buy the magazine and read about these if you really want to do that. The success of the first penicillin vaccine, not a vaccine, about penicillin, the first antibiotic, about Ebola. Yeah. So a lot of diseases happened throughout humanity. I mean, a lot of the diseases are still not eradicated. Therefore, it's like, yeah, it just happens. They exist, but we can't sit in a constant state of fear, because fear and stress also causes diseases. Yeah, so if you want to read the coverage of these diseases, please go ahead. I'm just not going to go into the details because I'm just saturated. Next article is about the holy waters, the holy rivers from India. Do you think this image is pretty? This person is taking a bath in this river. Yeah, exactly. I was like, at the beginning, I was fooled because I saw all of the orange flowers, and I was like, oh, that's so nice. They're taking a bath in a flower river. And then I was like, but that's trash. And not only trash, there are also like all sorts of funny liquids and stuff from people in the water. And yeah, mm. This is an image. This is an image from a thermocentral. How do you call that? Of coal, a coal factory. Guru Nanak Dev from Bathinda, Punjab, which closed in 2017 after 43 years of functioning. But actually it made people sick. Sure. So that was a man. They are washing their sins in the Ganga rivers. Yeah. Actually, yeah, I like. I hope hope it helps. Um, this Ganges River, it's quite, yeah, that's quite holy for people from India, and it's the most polluted place from the planet. Ew, 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 ew. Yeah, this is an image of a person who has arthritis. Can you see like the hands are having all sorts of like weird, weird shape? But this is because he exposed himself to contaminated water with pesticides. Oh, so yeah, but that why did that happen? Because India had a agricultural revolution in the 60s, and in order to make India to be like thriving as as a future agricultural champion, they used a lot of pesticides, and therefore people were affected. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Very interesting thing. People are like moving fountains of salty water. Our bodies contain the same percentage of water as the surface of the earth. We are water animals, born on a water planet. Ooh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Quite interesting. Quite interesting. But only 1% from the quantity of water from Earth we can actually drink sweet water. Oh, quite. The salty water contains 97% from the water from the globe. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Sadly enough, in India, running water, drinkable water, water that you can safely drink, it's quite a luxury. There is a crisis to happen in India in regards to the water. This is the second country as population from the world, over 1.3 billion people. They have a lot of rivers, the Ind, the Ganges, the Brahmaputra. Wow, but they might just drink their last drop from their water supplies, because it's exploited. The water supplies from India, they are exploited. They are dropping with 12.8 barrels, even 30 meters in one generation. Wow, so you have to dig deeper and deeper and deeper in India in order to find water, just because I think this explains the fact that there are so many people and they need so much water, but they just don't have it. They just don't have it. Wow, a lot from India, 600 million people live without enough water. Wow, God. The fountains are poisoned with iron and fluor in excess. Oh, that's kind of gross. That's kind of gross. Very, very sad. Actually, very sad. Very, very sad. They are exploiting sand. I didn't know this about India. They are quite voracious exploiters of sand. I didn't know that. From Son from Bihar. Exploiting sand is usually illegal, and it's done in the night when nobody knows. The excessive exploitation destroys the habitat of some animals like crocodiles, how do you call that? dolphins. We have dolphins in India. Yeah, sweetwater dolphins. Wow, that's quite interesting. Oh, there are Ind dolphins, a particular species of dolphins which is particular to India. Oh, wow, and they are threatened by this exploitation of the sand. Wow, quite sad, quite sad. In India, 2/3 from the workforce are represented by women. Wow. In the in the countryside, women are the ones who are carrying water. Ah, that's just slavery. Oh, no, 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 no. Being a woman in India, can you imagine being a woman in India? You I wouldn't had like the luxury of streaming today. I would have probably carried water and oh yeah. This is an image of Kumbh Mela, a Hindu's festival. It happens to once every 3 years. Look at this. Quite a lot of people. People. Looks nice, but now that you know there is so much pollution in that water, is not so entertaining anymore. In India, they have this culture, this habit of cremating people on the Ganga River. Yeah. So like this is like the family, and this is like the deceased, and they are carrying him on the river, preparing for cremation. And a couple of pages ago, that guy was bathing in the same river. That's so unsanitary. But they believe that, they have this belief that Hindus people, that cremating in holy places will release the soul from the circle of reincarnation. Okay, that's just their spiritual belief. Wow. Okay. This is the image of a guy, Paul Salopek. Oh God, on this river of the Ganga, and almost 30,000 people are being cremated here in a year. But oh, this is gross. People who are very religious actually believe that the water is pure enough to drink. Oh, yeah. I don't think so. No. I am a spiritual person, I believe, but drinking water from a river where people are cremated, it's just not my cup of tea. Yeah. Okay, there is an issue with people exploiting sand. Wow. There is a sand mafia in India, and just because it's good money in India, sand sells very, very well. But can you understand, exploiting this sand from the rivers affects nature, affects people, affects everything. But sand, it's used in construction, therefore good money is being made with that. Actually, reporters, journalists have been killed by the sand mafia from India just because they didn't want to be exposed. Wow, that's quite unbelievable. unbelievable. Wow. Oh my, it's amazed. It's just such a different culture that it's almost like a cultural shock to read about this kind of things. Mm. There is also a problem with Muslims in India. They are quite xenophobes about it. Uh, there is a story of a woman, Rupali Bibi. She is hiding like she's a fugitive. Why? Because she is coming from Muslims from Bangladesh who migrated into India almost 100 years ago. But can you imagine? Just because you have some ancestors who are from 100 years ago, you are being treated like you are like a pariah. You are like, oh, so you are descending from the Muslims who came 100 years ago. Oh, then you're like so bad. Wow, it's like it happened 100 years ago. Get over it. That's so sad. Poor woman. So in the first weeks of the COVID pandemic, almost 200 million Indian Muslims were being like treated like horribly just because uh, uh, in politics, the politicians, which are right Hindus people, they demonized them like, oh, they're Muslims, so they have the COVID, they have to be deported. Wow, wow, like this is happening in 220 people. Wow, oh my god, shocking. I seriously hope that the mentality will evolve, because it's so sad this to be happening in 220. We are in 220. How can you deport somebody based on their origins from 100 years ago? Okay. The next article, very very interesting, from women from USA, 100 years since they got the right to vote. In 1920, women, the right of women to vote in America was conquered. Therefore, 100 years, and this is a picture. This is a picture of the bravest women who contributed to the strength of the women in America. Oh, I like that. Quite nice. This is a historical image. I'm gonna show it to you. You see a bunch of women here, but I'm going to explain it. Okay, you see these, and you see her, and you see here a flag, and here what's happening in this image. What's this image all about? I'm going to tell you. On 18th of August 1920, in the 19th Amendment from Tennessee, Alice Paul, she was like the leader of this movement. She showed the flag of the National Party of Women from the balcony of the organization. So each time, the significance of the stars, each time when a new state approved this amendment, Paul put a little star on the flag until they had 36, and women, when 36 stars were on the flag, the women won their right to vote. Can you imagine? So they had to get one little star from every state. Oh, determined women, determined. I like that. So this is the story. So that was a victory. Quite interesting. this is like an image of a lot of women who influenced the political stage in America, about Janet Ronkin, the first woman from the Congress, Margaret Chase Smith, the first woman who was chosen in the both chambers of the Congress. Patsy Mink, the first woman of color and Asian who was picked. Thank you. I'm practically doing them on Twitch and then transfer them to my YouTube channel. Quite nice. Quite nice. This is the image of Nicole Montclair Donaghy. This woman, she drove 5,000 kilometers to make sure that the native can vote. Oh, lovely. Oh, this is a protest of women fighting for their right to vote in America. Look at them. They're so brave. Very brave. When I see women fighting for their right, that's so nice. So nice. They sat in the front of the White House 6 days per week. 6 days per week in silence. Ooh, I like a silent protest. Actually, they resisted weather, they resisted harassment. They were harassed by people who just passed by. Wow, bullied. They actually got arrested and into. Can you imagine? Like me, if I would be in America and I would be able to vote, but my right to vote has been won by this woman who went to jail for it. Appreciate your right to vote if you're a woman. Yeah, quite nice. Quite nice. So they fought a lot, they endured a lot. Oh wow. Actually, the police was pretty brutal and harsh with these women. They actually went to jail, all of them. They made like a protest by not eating. They didn't want to eat in jail to prove their point, and they were fed by force. They were fed by force. Oh, thank you. Mary for America. Yeah, quite nice. The Senate of USA has 100 members, from which 26 are women. One governor out of 5 is women. Until now, no woman has been president in America. Right. But maybe someday. Quite interesting. So we have to appreciate that what we have now in terms of freedom has been gained through the sacrifice of others. That's very important to appreciate and be grateful for. I just take a moment, pause, breathe, and realize that there are decades of history being made before you, and everything that we have now, it's being done by brave people who are willing to go to jail, be beaten up, not eat, die for their ideals. That's very important. My favorite, this was my top favorite. I had favorites, but this is my top favorite article from National Geographic magazine this month. I want to visit this place. It looks so pretty. This is in Slovenia, in Europe. Look, look. This is a cave. This is a cave of spectacular beauty in Slovenia. Oh, I want. So beautiful. Ah, it has a lake. It has 45 lakes. A cave with 45 lakes. Oh, wow. 22 lakes. Yeah, I am from Romania, yeah. 22 lakes are accessible for tourists. Look at this picture. Oh, this is so pretty. This is like a picture of a guy, Janis Jakaserar. This is the first person who made pictures of the entire Krishna system of caves. This is a gallery. Can you imagine how big? Oh, wow. This is big. Look at him. He's small. And this is a gallery called Jedzerski. Oh, but he seems to enjoy it. Yeah. This is another gallery which is huge. Also men exploring it. Look at that. Wow. I would definitely visit this. This is like humongous. Like, yeah. Wow. Incredible. Such a beauty. And here, I don't know if you can see, this is like water. This is like a lake. Wow. So beautiful. In Krishna, there used to be bears who were hibernating. There has been 4,000 fossils found in here. Look, this is the jaw of a bear, which got trapped in the structure of the cave. Fascinating. And this is like the guy who studied and found it. Wow. That's so lovely. So, where is this? Oh, I'm so excited. I like it so much. This is in the Laz Valley from southern Slovenia. This is called Krishna. People lived in this cave. There has been evidence found out. They found a ceramic relics in here on a wall from the cave. Ooh, on a wall from the cave, it has been a name written in 1557. So cave people lived in here. Ooh, wow. In 1838, Joseph Zorer made a sketch. He was like a forest guy, a guardian of the forest, how you could say. Wow. In 1878, the Ferdinand von Hochschuster, I can't spell German names, he managed to discover 4,460 bones from 100 bears. So this cave, but can you imagine like people lived in this cave, but also bears lived in here. Could you sleep in like Could you sleep like in a cave where you know there are bears too? Ooh, cave people were brave. Wow. Krishna, no, no. It's like no, I don't like no. It's like I'm like a sitting duck. The bear can only like come and grab you. Krishna cave was known for the bear bones. Actually, the bears disappeared. This kind of bear, this kind of species of bear, disappeared 26,000 years ago. Wow. Wow. The species of bears is called Ursus ingressus, a species of a bear who migrated from Asia 50,000 years ago. Guys, let's do the math. The caves are in Slovenia, which is in Europe. These bears migrated from Asia 50,000 years ago, and their bones have been found in a European cave. Wow. Unfortunately, I was deeply sad when I found about this. People used to steal from the cave. They used to steal like all sorts of pieces hanging from the cave walls. That's kind of sad. That's kind of sad. Caves, you shouldn't steal stuff from a cave. For whoever goes and visits a cave, just don't steal it. It's there for a reason. It's nature. Admire it. Don't just steal stuff from caves. Why do that? Oh God, y'all. Actually, the water part of the Krishna cave, the lakes, remain undiscovered for quite a long time. Only in 1926, Max Prezelj, a high school teacher from Ljubljana, explored it in boats. Oh God. In cave you can find 36 species, water species, especially troglobians, something related to fish. The water from the cave, it's very rich in minerals. We have 45 lakes. Oh, can you imagine? Oh my God, this is like on my top list. Can you imagine like a cave so big it can have 45 lakes in it? Wow. This is like a picture with people when they discovered this cage in 1930. Look at that. I never visited Ukraine. No, actually it's quite close to Romania, but no, this is like a picture old. Look at that. So much effort in discovering this. Wow. This is another like black and white book. And like, can you imagine people come and steal these things? Like, rude. This is like my favorite image. This is like, look at that, so beautiful. This is like a reflection. Look at that, you're so pretty. This is so pretty. So pretty. I like, this stuff exists. Oh, restrictions allow to have tours with the boat only for 10%. Yeah, only for 10% of the visitors. Mm. In 1991, after 200 hours of digging into a very narrow tunnel, 27 meters long and 15 meters deep, they found a place that lead them to a hole with a lake, to a big hole with a lake. This has been called the New Krishna, which is like an extension of the original Krishna cave. Wow! And the water goes the water from the Krishna goes through through a chemical transformation which is still unexplained, which is creating a specific atmosphere in the new caves. The water is a golden yellow. Oh wow. From 1991, since the official exploration began, they only allowed 16 people, 16, how do you call those people who study caves? Like speleologues, how do you call that? From the Institute of Karstic Research. Oh, Slovenia adopted the law for cave protection in 2004. Slovenia has almost 13,000 caves. Only 6 are closed. New Krishna is closed. Oh, we can't visit New Krishna. Oh. The water, I'm so sad. The water, that place with water from New Krishna has only been visited by 30 people. I want to visit. Oh. It has a very deep lake in the Kittel. There is a Kittel place called Kittel Place, 70 meters deep. The divers, they are trying to find a passage through these lakes. Wow, so pretty. I'm fascinated. This is definitely worth visiting. Look at this image. Oh. Look at this. So pretty. Wow. Oh, I want to go there. I want to go there. These are like a golden draperies, like a golden curtain. Wow. So nice, so nice, so nice. This is like with boat. If you have a boat and you can, this is inside a cave. And look at that. So pretty. Look at the color of the water. Could the water be like, it's out of the world. It's so beautiful. This is in the New Krishna. You can't visit this because it's closed. And the golden color, can you see? This is really golden. This is like the chemical reaction of the atmosphere from the cave, which scientists can't explain. They can't explain. Wow. So beautiful. I'm mesmerized. So beautiful. This is it. Yeah, this is it. No more. The magazine is over. Oh yeah. They speak to us like in the next issue. They are going to talk about rowboats, about ostrich, about Bucharest, and about saving the oceans. Yeah, this is it. Oh, I want to visit New Krishna, which can't be visited. Oh, so beautiful. Can you imagine so many beautiful places on the planet? So heart feels for new Chris now. Anyway, let's skip over that. Yeah. The next book I'm going to talk about in my next stream from the next Sunday. It's about a very well-known guy, a very positive, motivational guy, Norman Vincent Peale. This book, at first I have read it with a bit of I'm not a skeptic, I'm spiritual, but I was like, am I going to read a book about this book? In Romanian they translated about trust, but the English title is something like this: Confidence, biblical truths for discovering God's potential in you. I'm a spiritual human being. I believe in God, and I do believe in that. But at first, I was quite reluctant in reading a book about like Bible and God, and I was like, how can you do a motivational book and talk about the Bible? And this is interestingly pleasant, and it will definitely change your perspective about confidence, about very, very interesting. It's not, I expected it to be, people who are very religious have this tendency of of pushing it onto you, like, believe in God, I'm gonna give you this, and read Bible, and I was like, but this is not like that. This is not yeah, me neither. I don't like to be like forcefully fed with biblical food. This is different. I was pleasantly surprised. This is an intellectual, motivational approach of biblical wisdom. Interesting. It's not what you expect. If I was about to find this book by its title, Biblical Truths for Discovering God's Potential, I admit I wouldn't have bought it. But after I bought it and read it, so much wisdom in it, and it's not trying to feed religion in your head. And I like that. I like when people don't try to force feed other people with their beliefs. Norman Vincent Peale, you rock. So this is the next book. Yeah, thank you so much for sitting in my stream. It was an absolute joy for me to talk about the latest issue of National Geographic. I totally recommend you buying it, and I wish you a lovely Sunday ahead, and thank you for sitting in my stream. Yo, bye.